Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's intuitive tapping. Today I wanted to do a little bit of tapping around something that it's a concept, an idea, something that I've read twice about over the last 2 weeks in different books. So something that has come up in whatever books that I've been reading. And the concept has come up twice over the last week. So I thought, well, what a cool way we could just do a little bit of an intuitive tapping around this. And that concept or that idea is to see things for the first time. So for me personally, I was using this with emotions lately, and using, I just dropped the cards. Hello. Good morning. And it's not even Monday. Anyway, it's almost not even morning. Okay, so this concept of seeing things for the first time, having a very fresh lens, a fresh perspective, a fresh way of viewing things. But really, I think it comes back to viewing things or experience things from a very innocent place. And so I think one of the things that I had read in one of the books was how we tend to know how everything works. We already know how things work. We already know how things will pan out. We already have experiences that have created a way that we view things. So it can be tricky sometimes to view things for the first time and get that fresh, clean slate, blank space kind of energy that can really help you tap into potential possibilities. So this first card that I'm going to pull is going to be about the first round that we do is going to be really geared around the resistance that we may have to seeing things from the first time. So let's see. Okay, so this just popped out. So let's just go with this one. So it's a deep knowing. Where is the camera? All the angles. Okay, so deep knowing. And that is a really interesting card because it's like we have the wisdom. We know what we know. We have wisdom. And of course, there's always different angles and different tangents and different ways to experience the same thing. There's different perspectives, but we carry a lot of wisdom and knowledge within ourselves because I think, that protective state. Let's use that. We have a deep knowing. We have a deep and wide foundation of knowledge that experiences have created for us. And so with that deep knowing, we feel like we will be more protected if we tap into that knowingness. We won't get hurt. We won't be burned. We won't fail, basically, again. So let's take a look at that right now. Let's do a quick round of tapping around that and see where we end up. So if you haven't experienced tapping before, just follow along. We're actually tapping on energy meridians. Tapping EFT, emotional freedom technique, if you're very unfamiliar with it. But if you've been following me, you'll know that this is something that I use quite a bit in the work that I do. And so as long as you're in a place that is safe to do so, we can just take a nice gentle deep breath in and out, settle into your space, settle into your seat. And when you're ready, we can start tapping on the side of the hand and repeat after me. Even though I have a wide range of wisdom that I've already learned, it's hard to unknow that. And I love and accept myself anyway. Even though my past experiences have given me a lot of knowledge, sometimes it's not the most conducive to see things in a fresh way. And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. even though knowledge is power, I feel like that sometimes hinders being able to tap into my potential and possibility. And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. Top of the head. We'll say knowledge is power. Eyebrow point. But knowledge is also confining, especially when I feel closed off and closed-minded because of past experiences. Underneath the nose, past experiences have taught me how to feel. Underneath the mouth, past experiences have taught me how to think. Collarbone point. Past experiences have taught me how to survive. Underneath the arms. And I honor these experiences. Underneath the chest. But I'd like to tap into new possibilities and potentials. Wrist points. So I feel like my past knowledge, top of the head, my past understanding, eyebrow point, really limits how much I can dream. Side of the eye, my past experiences limit, underneath the eye, my ability to feel into new possibilities. Underneath the nose, I forgive myself for carrying this weight. Underneath the mouth, I forgive myself for believing, collarbone point, that I have to have it one way or the other. Underneath the arms, I give myself permission now. Underneath the chest, to know what I know. Wrist points. And to also be open. Top of the head. To the new and inspiring potentials and possibilities. Eyebrow point. I can choose to know what I know. Side of the eye. To feel the way I've always felt. Underneath the eye. To think the way I've always thought. Underneath the nose. And to do what I've always done. Underneath the mouth. And I see how that may limit my potentials and my possibilities now. Collarbone point, and I'm curious to know, underneath the arms, how seeing things like the first time underneath the chest can help me expand now. Okay, so take a nice gentle breath there and just check in with what kind of came up for you during that time. What comes up for you when you think about how your wisdom, past experiences that you've gone through have helped you get to this point now? How does that feel when you think about, well, how if I just forget everything? I mean, clearly it's not that we're just going to forget everything, but how do we disengage from knowing what we know and kind of closing everything off and saying this is how it's going to be because that's how it's been in the past? And how are we going to lean into being more open and available to not knowing, right? The uncertainty of not knowing. And that is a very difficult place for a lot of people to be in. That whole beginner mindset, that toddler mindset where we're really trying to engage in the wonder of the world and the innocence and the just that fresh energy of possibility. And so this next round we're going to do is going to be about how we can open up more to that. And let's see what card comes out for that. Oh, okay. So soulmates, which is in protection in reverse. Now I'm just going to read a quick sec because I want to know what in protection. So I think, okay, so what I'm getting from this is really about what we've learned from the people around us. So we, as babies, as toddlers, as children, and as we grow up, we observe and absorb how people do things throughout our life. And that really creates a very strong connection to what we feel is available to us because of what we've seen, experienced, and what we've been taught. So parents, friends and family, school, work, all of these things, social media, growing up in just society, just viewing how people view. So if we're taking a look at what we know that what we do know is basically based off of how we've perceived other people do things. So how open we can be is based on how we've been taught to be open, if that makes sense. So this is what I'm getting from it anyway, is that people will teach us how open or how closed off we can be. People are going to teach us how available beginning something from a new state is, looking at something from a fresh set of eyes. If you've had parents who have gone through career changes, how did they view that? How did they do that? If you've had, if you've witnessed separation in family, if you've witnessed change of any kind, how has that kind of shifted your perception on how easy is it to be available to what is new? And also taking a look at the people around you that you are drawn to because they do handle that so well. Like, how can we tap into more of that energy? What is it about those people who really welcome and embrace and get excited about change and viewing things like in a very youthful, excited, innocent kind of way? What do we feel like we need from them, or what are we maybe resentful of? Because that's a really good indication. It's usually meaning that we're feeling triggered because we don't have that, but we want that, and it is available to us because we're seeing that. That's a connection that we're seeing. It's mirroring back to us, but how can we tap into that and create it for ourselves? So it's not necessarily about doing what we've always seen people do, but what is the trigger, or what is the awareness that we have that these other people are either showing us the way in a positive or negative way, and how do we interpret that? So let's just open up a little bit for that. So again, we're going to tap on the side of the hand here, and we're going to say, even though I've witnessed people do things differently, they've been very open to possibility and potentials, or they've been very closed off and restricted. I'm curious about where I stand in the middle of all of this. And I love and accept exactly where I am right now. Even though I may have been taught that change is hard, that potential and possibility don't come easy, that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. And maybe I've witnessed people embrace change. I have observed people tap into potential and possibility with excitement, with innocence, and with youthfulness. And I want to be more like that. I'm curious how this is available for me now, while deeply and completely loving and accepting myself where I'm at. Top of the head. I carry a lot of wisdom and knowledge. Eyebrow point. That has been passed down from me observing other people. Side of the eye. I can see where I mimic other people's stuff. Underneath the eye. I can see where I mimic their excitement. Underneath the nose. I can see where I mimic their constriction. Underneath the mouth. I can see where I get triggered by other people. Collarbone point. I can see where I feel expansive around other people. Underneath the arms. I forgive myself for believing, underneath the chest, that other people will determine, wrist points, my ability to tap into potentials and possibilities. Top of the head. I forgive myself now for believing. Eyebrow point. That other people determine what is available to me now. Side of the eye. I give myself permission, underneath the eye, to observe what is coming up for me in these situations. Underneath the nose. I give myself permission to observe. Underneath the mouth. The way I feel when I observe the people around me. Collarbone point. I am open and curious now. Underneath the arms. To observing what I am going through when I witness other people. Underneath the chest. And I choose to be more intentional. Wrist points. More present and more patient. Top of the head. In the direction I choose to go from here on out. Okay. So taking a nice gentle breath, just kind of, again, observing what comes up for you right now. Maybe a certain person comes up for you right now where you're feeling a little bit of, some kind of an emotion and a charge or a connection in the way that they are either available or unavailable to potentials and possibilities, and how they view things either in a very constricted way where this is that and that is how it will always be, or how they view things in a very expansive, clean slate kind of way where they're able to tap into the potential and possibility of what's available to them, regardless of what has happened in the past. But where they have, have basically learned what they needed to learn from the past experiences and are able to move forward in a way that is beneficial and not, not in a way that it holds them back in any certain way, or doesn't paint a picture of anticipation, or it doesn't determine the way that they move forward, right? So it's kind of an interesting topic here. So this last round here, we're going to do a quick round of kind of the affirmation about it. So like, if you think about how you want to be, I mean, I'm sure most of us want to be open to the potentials and the possibilities and to what's available to us, and to not letting our past determine how expansive we can be, right? So how do we break through that glass ceiling and see things through, a very fresh sense? So this is interesting. Let's see what kind of comes through with this. This card is called All That Glitters. Now, this is about being able to see through the shit. This is about being able to see through the illusion that, Maybe we saw, we're able to see through past the shininess. We're able to see through the surface, flash, or pizzazz, or like, somebody trying to get your attention with something shiny and they're garbage, right? It's garbage. So really, with the knowing that we have, with the ability to be aware and observe how we interpret things in the moment, in the present moment, in the here and now, versus using the past lens of what has happened before, right? We're able to see through that. We're able to see through the difference. We're able to know, we have a sense of wisdom that's embodied within us, and we are able to move forward in a very clear, intentional, purposeful way because we've been through what we've been through. We don't need to carry that anymore, but we can recognize. And those are very subtle, intuitive hits sometimes where we get that gut reaction. We get that little, that hell yes or hard no in, this is not for you, or this is for you, right? So we can see through the shit. We can see through our own shit. We can see through other people's shit. We can see through the past, right? So we can discern between our fear-based self that's like, remember what happened last time we tried to do this? And we can also determine what is meant for us and what is not meant for us. So let's just tap on the side of the hand here and say, even though I don't want to allow past experiences to shape my future, I'm open to the embodied wisdom that will guide me forward. And I love and accept where I'm at right now. Even though it feels like I've made some mistakes in the past, I've had perceived failures, I've learned a lot of lessons. And I am able to intentionally take this wisdom into the future. And I love and accept myself anyway. Especially because I have mimicked and mirrored how other people handle things, the way they think, feel, and behave. I've needed that information to help me gain clarity now. And I love and accept where I'm at right now. Top of the head. I trust that I'm able to see through the shit. Eyebrow points. I trust that I'm able to allow in what is meant for me. Eyebrow or side of the eye. I trust that I'm able to view things from an objective and aligned place. Underneath the eye. I can know what I know. Underneath the nose. I can tap into that embodied wisdom. Underneath the mouth. I can use relationships and people around me. Collarbone point to help me gauge where I'm going. Underneath the arms, because I am settled and secure in myself. Underneath the chest, I've learned a lot of lessons. Wrist points, I've come through a lot of experiences. Top of the head. I'm taking all of that experience now. eyebrow point, and using it in a way that I can use for the very first time. On our side of the eye, I am excited to see things for the first time. Underneath the eye, I am excited to feel things for the first time. Underneath the nose, I'm excited to do things for the first time. Underneath the mouth, and I am excited to see how it expands for me. Collarbone point, and how all of the potentials and possibilities available to me now. Underneath the arms, unfold in the most aligned and beautiful way. All right. So that was really interesting card pull for these. I hope that was helpful. It was definitely interesting for me. Yeah, a lot of cool things. So just as a quick recap, you can just really kind of tap into what you know, how you learned that through the people in your life, and how you can use that to your advantage to be able to cut through the fluff and really just step into what is yours, what your potentials and your possibilities that are available to you for your most aligned self in this moment. And so really even I feel like tapping into this energy on a daily basis is something that is very helpful, because the more we practice something, the more familiar to get, the more we are able to get comfortable with that and to really use it to our benefit. Whereas sometimes if things feel very foreign or uncomfortable, it's usually just because we haven't practiced it enough. We haven't gotten familiar with it enough to be able to understand or see how it unfolds for us. And again, this stems back from past experiences. Maybe we've had a past experience where we thought we were going to let things unfold in the way that they needed to unfold, and it turned out to go to shit. And so we've based all of what we have on that one experience, right? And so while we know that it is available, I've seen it every day. I see it on a daily basis. I'm around people who this happens for so many, like there's a lot of experiences and a lot of evidence and proof that this does happen, right? So we just have to practice and start small. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Yeah, so also, before I go, if you guys are interested, I am actually hosting a workshop on March 30th, 2022. So if you're watching this at a later date, it's over, but it's called the Energy Led Living Workshop. It was scheduled for last week and my sound did not work, so I am rerunning it again. And so you get an extra chance to catch that if that's something that's interesting for you. This is where a lot of this will come into play. This whole creating curiosity and familiarity in a way that is fun and playful and expansive, in a way that you get to kind of test the waters and try things. You know, it really opens up a possibility for you to try things and to not feel like you are constricted to, finding or experiencing something on a one-off opportunity kind of thing, which is something that can really hinder us from trying to explore and play and expand into this idea of seeing things for the first time, because we are very much attached to don't screw it up, don't mess it up, don't fail like you did before, right? So this Energy Led Living Workshop can really help you open up to how to play with that energy a little bit more in a very cyclical way, in a way that is very replenishing. It's very, it's very interesting, and I love using it. So I'll be sharing that there. You can find out more about that by clicking on the link in wherever this is in the comments below or in the description below. So have an amazing rest of your day, your week, and we will chat with you soon. Bye.